The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing Icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomas Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business, from $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Icons of Real Estate podcast. With us today, we have Joseph Trujillo. He's the founder of Dream Chasers and an experienced leader and influencer with a demonstrated history of working in the real estate industry. Acknowledged as an industry trailblazer in sales, sales training, coaching, and agent development, a Success 125 Honoree, top 1% agent in the USA, and of course, eXp Realty, and team leader in multiple states and countries. And of course, a 4 times icon could not miss the chance to come here and meet us at the Icons of Real Estate podcast. Welcome to the show, Joe.
Hey, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate your time, Tomas, and an honor to be on your podcast. Thank you for the invitation. I appreciate you, brother.
The honor is mine, and I appreciate you accepting it. So what we do to kick off the podcast is we start with the real estate journey. So please tell us, I know you were from the Marines, right? So like, how did you get from the Marines to real estate?
Yeah, it's hard to surmise 20 or 30 years of experience, but I'll make it super short.
Do your best.
Yeah, I spent 22 years in government service doing some really cool work out here in the United States. And then about 5.5 years ago, I had this crazy idea of just selling my own house because I didn't want to pay commission. And I was one of those customers. And I got my license and I sold my own home. I made $20,000, $30,000 off of commission. And I thought this was a pretty cool part-time job. And the rest of that year, I ended up selling a little over 25 other transactions part-time while I was still working full-time. And the next year was 40. The year after that, it was 50. And before I knew it, I was leaving money on the table by not going full-time into real estate. And that's when I joined eXp Realty and I took a deep dive in it, and it's changed the dynamics of me and my family's life forever. So in a nutshell, that's been the journey.
Yeah, that's a very good nutshell, by the way. And so was eXp the first brokerage you joined? Were you like an independent real estate agent before?
Right. So before eXp, I was at an independent company where I was a partner. I became a partner immediately as soon as I got my license, just because of some background experience I had in developing organizations. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was a small and mom and pops organization, and we grew it really, really fast. And then I seen this amazing opportunity at eXp, and the light bulb just went on, and I'm like, this is where the future of real estate is going. And I took everything that I had there, which was only 2 agents, mm-hmm. and I brought my broker over. So she closed up her shop, and she's joined me here at eXp Realty, and we're just incredibly humbled and blessed to have a lot of success stories behind it now. So it's been phenomenal.
Nice, perfect. That's what you want to hear, success stories.
Yes.
So how did then Dream Chasers come to life, right? So you're the founder or one of the founders, like your co-founder, right, with Rick Gare, if I'm not mistaken. Or am I mistaken?
Rick Jiha is one of my senior partners, but no, he runs his own organization called Empire. Okay. So I'm the founder of eXp Dream Chasers, and we're an organization within this amazing company. We're about a little over 600 agents strong, like you had mentioned, in multiple states, a few different countries. Mm-hmm. And it's just a movement, right? It's a movement of great agents, just an agent-centric environment where we're all really dedicated to helping each other build and grow. And that kind of just developed organically. Admittedly, I didn't join eXp to kind of grow this organization. I came over because of ownership, mm-hmm. and I really wanted to have stocks and shares and just have my own at the time, my own piece of the pie. And now I want my own bakery.
Nice.
But
Literally a piece of the pie.
yeah. And the Dream Chaser thing is just it's a movement, and we're adding 60 to 70 agents a month, and it's just a beautiful thing to have this organic growth of collaboration and unity. So it's been quite phenomenal. I think a lot of people are seeing it across EXP wide. But what makes us a little bit different um, is we're really diversified, with our talent pool, with our cultural makeup, which is very, very important to have. And we have this philosophy behind ourselves where it's not about an individual, right? Because that's hardly duplicatable. It's about systems and processes where we can create other leaders amongst leaders. And so by leading with that, it leaves us very fulfilled.
Exactly. And yeah, you're saying about the leaders of leaders. And of course, first you become a follower of a leader, then maybe you become a leader of followers. And then I guess the last transformation will be the leader of a leader, right? So what is the journey look like to you, like from being initially a follower to that like end game, which is like a leader of a leader?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think actually in again, in my experience and having developed organizations before, sometimes it's fluid, right? Sometimes somebody can be brand new and they may be labeled as entry level or a brand new agent, but they do have leadership skill sets. And so there's a little bit of headhunting involved in it. And it holds true in my experience in real estate, where just because somebody's brand new doesn't mean that they can't project themselves into a leadership role faster than others. Some people have the tangibles. When I was in the Marine Corps, people come in with different skill sets and they're able to escalate and elevate their positions faster than others. And so it becomes a process. I know certainly within our group, we're looking at people not of, have you been in the industry 15 plus years, right? I have agents that have joined us and they've only been in the industry for a year or so, but they have those skill sets that enable them to take leadership roles. And when they do that, ultimately we're here and to support them and help them nurture and grow.
Nice. And how do you help them? That was actually my next question. Like, how do you help them nurture and grow? So like, do you do like any type of trainings that you do with your team to keep them alive and thriving?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If you don't have, some systems and process to be able to grow, your own group and organization amongst everything that EXP already provides, which is, quite ridiculous. You also have to have an internal mechanism in order to enable the growth within your group. That's what builds the culture, right? Within Dream Chasers or within any organization that's out there. So the short answer is yes. I mean, it's almost every single day we have something going on, on our every Monday, like church, we have our Monday masterminds. We have several hundred agents that show up every Monday to get their week started off on the right foot. Tuesdays, we developed a program called Agent Liftoff, where we have success coaches that we pull from within our organization that already have the training and the coaching and everything that they've acquired throughout their years in real estate, and we just kind of pour into our agents and they get all of that. Scripts training, and then we have agent attraction training. All these are set up at different days, but it's like clockwork, right? When agents show up to our team website, they can pull from the drop down and almost develop their own curriculum for the week. So it's phenomenal to have that, and to see our agents just kind of building this inner community enables us to just have this 30,000 foot view of where we're going and how fast we're growing, and how to keep that organization growing the right way, right? And pay attention to things like low attrition rates, but giving agents more value. and then acquiring new leaders that can fill these funnels of information for them. So it's very intricate. Once you start building a team of over several hundred agents, there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, and do you feel that by your team growing, do you feel that it's getting harder and harder to find like a unique, it's not a unique value add, but like a personality that, of course, if you have a team of 10, maybe you know all their names, you know when is their birthday, but you cannot know 600 names, right? So like the personality of the group, of the team, of, let's call it, company, can divert a bit, right?
Right. And I think that's something that we've been able to separate ourselves is, you're absolutely right. It's hard to remember, 600 real estate agents, first names and last names.
Yeah.
But then that's where the organizational structure is really important, where you have, leaders that are dispersed amongst the 600, that they themselves have the accountability, right? So I may know, some of the influencers and leaders within the group, and we have intimate relationships. But if I can't transfer the skill sets that I have to them, so that way they can effectively lead, the goal is for each one of those sub leaders to be bigger and better than me. And that requires systems and processes. So that's being done on every single level amongst our group.
Nice. And yeah, looking at now that you have like 600, 700 agents, and now looking to the near future, or what are the efforts that you're doing to keep your team growing, like on the day-to-day basis or weekly basis?
Yeah, so it's continuously, reevaluating what we're doing, right? So that's done on a few different levels, some with me and some of my senior partners, having conversations about, all right, what's next? Like what worked last month may not work this month. And then continuing to add new development processes. So recently what we've been doing is we've been kind of taking up a playbook out of some of our other great senior partners, and doing some mega events. Like, for example, we just held our own event that had over 1,000 agents in attendance out here in Southern California. And we're taking that show on the road, and it's
Nice.
It's been really successful for some of our great leaders like Brent Gove, and we're taking a piece out of his a page out of his book, and doing it ourselves, and it's working. And then a bunch of other stuff. There's a bunch of stuff that we got cooking, everything from schools to developing new systems, being more digital, getting into a framework where it is online, right? Because if you're not online, you're dead. So you can't just do everything in person. It's impossible to scale in that way. You have to be where the masses are, and that's something that we're finding a lot of success in as well.
Yeah, I saw someone say that in a few years, if you die in the metaverse, you die in real life. I don't know who said it. I don't want to pull here a mistake, but someone said it. I was like, wait, what? I did not agree to this.
Right, exactly. Well, there might be some truth in it, right? If you can't be found through online efforts, especially in social media demographics, I'm not sure how long you're going to be able to sustain.
Yeah, that's true. And then it's like I was saying, I did not agree to this. I was just joking, but like sometimes people, it's like that it's not that they don't get a say, but at the same time, you don't get a say. You just have to suck it up and survive, adjust, and try to be your best self, knowing those factors instead of going against it, which is some people still do, right?
100%. And even, in leadership positions, every single day I'm like, all right, I need to learn something new, something different, right? I need to get, educated, and, like recently I've been going through a lot of like crypto and NFT and, metaverse kind of education, just to be able to elevate what's coming or what's already here or what I'm missing out on.
Yeah.
And so you have to have that system of being able to build, as an individual, so that way you can deliver that to your agents and your following.
Yeah, for sure. And like crypto is out there, and there's people still like denying it, and especially not in a general way. Like as we're talking about like real estate, like crypto and real estate, they're gonna be with hands tied, So it's like I think people need to understand better what is happening and what it's gonna be like the repercussions of it, and not to be like on the last place of the race.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, you got to pay attention to what smart people are doing, and at least learn, right?
Yeah.
That's always been my thing is like, well, let me learn about it. Maybe it's something that I'll partake in, and maybe it won't be, but at least I'll have an educated idea on making a decision.
Yeah, nice. And yeah, Joe, you're a 4 times icon agent. I think on the podcast, maybe you're only bit by Elizabeth Riley, but she has like 7 icon agents. Like that's a bit difficult to compete, right? But tell me, did you get icon on the first year that you arrived in EXP?
Yeah, so I've been at EXP 3 years, 7 months. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, every year I've been blessed. I come in and I've always been, production driven.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that we at Dream Chasers that we kind of we say we lead from the front with is
Mm-hmm.
being in production, right? So we want to
Nice.
lead with that. So yeah, first year got it. And I'm blessed. Like our systems are pretty top notch when it comes to production out here in Southern California. And so within a few months, I've been able to get it and reset every year and get it. But
Nice.
more importantly, brother, like it's amazing to get that, and especially to have the award benefit behind it. It's a life-changing opportunity. But more so, it's a life-changing opportunity to be able to share it with others, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it would be one thing if I was the only icon in Dream Chasers, but
Yeah.
now we have like the Glenn McEntees and Decatur Thorns and Will Higgins and
Yeah.
like all these amazing people are also getting it. And so that's where it's at. It's like this is sick. This is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That was my next question. I was asking you, like, did you manage to create more icon agents in your team? And yes, you did. That's nice.
Oh yeah, yeah. It would mean nothing if that didn't happen. Because otherwise nobody wants to run alone.
Mm-hmm.
I have much more fun being able to get like, the icons and the team leaders, and let's all get together and wolf pack it, right, and go. So
Nice. And you have, for anyone that is listening, because here, of course, the objective of the podcast is to bring like a standard agent to the icon level. And of course, like if you're already an icon, you're listening to this is still for you because you can still go beyond that. But do you have any message for anyone out there wanting to get their first icon status?
yeah, absolutely. I would highly suggest that you get with somebody that has already obtained it, because there are a few tricks to the trade. There are some ways to be able to navigate the requirements for icon.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the agents, in my experience, like having collaborated with a lot of the icons here at EXP, each one has systems, process, daily habits, rituals. Like every single one has something like that.
Yeah.
So if it's not me, connect with one of the icons and copy what they may be doing. Maybe if you're at 10 transactions a year and you need to hit that 25 or 30 to hit icon, it's time to change it up a little bit, get some coaching, some mentorship. So that's probably the foremost suggestion that I would have.
Nice. And yeah, you were talking about like the routine of agents that are already icons and then copy it. We have behaviors like even working out or waking up at 5 a.m. Like, do you have any characteristic in your routine that you find it to be special?
Yeah, I share one that kind of throws people off sometimes. So I run this thing that are called like mini days.
Okay.
Right. And so it's something that I had picked up in my previous gig, because people always used to ask me like, wow, how do you sell 25, 30, 40, 50 homes part-time when you still have a full-time job? And it's because I create time through a mini day process. And so essentially what that looks like is I let's take, for example, any average day where you work 8 to 12 hours, right? Which you should be doing if you're in real estate at a minimum. So I break those up into 3 or 4 days. So, the first part of my day, I'm a 5 a.m. club kind of guy.
Okay.
So between like 5 and 8, I'm doing like stuff to pour my own cup, right? I'm doing whether it's affirmations or reading or praying or working out, it's my time. Or preparing my family for their day, whatever that looks like. And then I go through almost an admin. The next 3 hours after that, I'll do like admin, and I'll get like everything prepped for the remainder of my day, calendar, all that stuff, set up appointments. And then the third part of my day will usually be stuff like we have set up today, right? Having conversations, doing things that are like money making activities. Those are usually the two requirements. And then my last part of my day is finalizing with appointments, right? Whether it's through agent interviews or buying and selling real estate. So what end up happening is you'll have almost 4 days that you kind of really focused on within a 1 day period. And if you take the amount of days you work in a year, let's say it's 250, right? And an agent that's working 250 days a year, if I take my mini days that are 3 or 4 per day, I'm going to have 750 to 1,000 days of work in a 1 year period compared to the average agent. So for me, that's created time management opportunities and opportunities for me to just to be able to elevate my game.
Nice. And it's funny that I think you do it a bit the opposite of at least like the most famous way of managing time in terms of like the easy tasks, and there's the easy tasks and there's the more complex tasks, and usually you do the complex ones in the morning, right? And you do them at the end of the day. Like is it normal, or like don't you feel a bit tired at the end of the day that you can't pull it off, or you just feel motivated that okay, it's the last sprint?
Yeah, I forget the name of there was an educator, actually my daughter taught me this. There's an educator, I can't think of the guy's name off the top of my head, but it had to do with like your methods of studying for long-term and without it throughout the day, right? So for, students that are studying 10, 12 hours a day, there's a process where if you take it in small doses, 2 to 3 hours at a time, and you take a 30-minute break and you just kind of recoup, you become more marathoned in your approach. So no, admittedly, I don't. And I get super excited about my business day, right? So knowing that by the end of the day is where I'm going to have a little bit more, one-on-one interactions, with either agents or buyers or sellers. I get really excited about that. So I save the best for last is the way I look at it.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's perfect. It means that you're at the right spot doing what you love.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely, brother.
So Joe, tell me, like, where do you go from here? What are your goals? Even let's maybe talk about 2022 goals and then long-term goals.
Yeah, I love that. So 2022, my big goal this year was to be hyper-focused on 2 things. One was selling less homes. And I know that sounds crazy, but I was trying to reduce my production a little bit in order to develop more leaders within our organization. So that was one of my primary goals. And then to increase the ranks of our agents. And so sitting at a little over 600 agents now. The year-end goal was over 1,000 agents. So we're definitely on a path to do that, which is really exciting. But what I'm really excited about is the next 3 to 5 years, right? And so, I mean, just as a company, it's just providing so much centric value for us that I'm curious to see like what's next. Like what else are we going to roll out? What other value are we going to be able to bring, and changing the dynamics of an entire industry? Like taking a look at that and thinking about that in scope is phenomenal, right? And to be involved in it at this stage, it's still quite innovative. And to me, like, that's what gets me out of bed every day. I'm like, this is really having an impact, not just in agents selling a bunch of homes, but like really, really changing their lives. I mean, I've seen so many examples within my group of, our agents paying, for their kids' education, or buying homes or investment properties, or just elevating their lives. So the next 3 to 5 years is going to be life-changing for so many people. And I have all these visions of many of us getting together at the end of those 3 to 5 years and being like, all right, what's next? Like, what are we going to build now?
Yeah.
It's nice to see the fruits of our labor starting to pay off now. But it's a lot of hard work. It doesn't happen overnight. You got to put a lot of blood and sweat into it. Again, like 12 hours at a minimum if you want to get off the ground, and you got to be able to be super dedicated to this craft.
Yeah, you got to be able to put in the work.
Big time.
And yeah, and tell us, Joe, how can our audience reach out to you?
So I am a little bit of a socialite. So the best way to reach out to me is probably through Instagram. I spend a lot of communication channels there. So it's at Icon Joe Trujillo, at Icon Joe Trujillo is my handle there. But I make myself available for anybody with opportunity. So my number, I give my number out. My number is 909-434-3004. You can text me is what I prefer. And if you want to get in touch with me, and let's link up, let's collaborate. I love putting great minds together and coming up with something new and fresh. So I'm really trying to dive into like a lot of innovative processes. So if you have something that you would like to share, reach out. Like, let's go. Let's link.
That's it. And if you're a leader of followers and want to be a leader of a leader, you already know the man to talk with.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate you.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Thanks for coming. I had a blast. I think it was a very nice episode here for our audience, and I hope you liked it too.
Oh, I loved it, man. And great questions.
And yeah, looking forward for the synergies that we'll have. And I just want to see you fulfill those goals. So I want to see 1,000 agents at Dream Chasers at the end of the year, and then in 3 and 4 years, I want to see that even bigger. Okay.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. I appreciate you, Tomas. Have a wonderful day, my brother.
You too. Bye.